Okay, this is a short little video for my Chemistry 1305 students. I'm making this in the fall of 2018. This was not an in-class lecture. This is supplemental material after the lectures have been done, but on naming amines. Now, I just did one on naming simple amines. So this has to do with chapter 15. And this is going to concentrate on the Iupac naming of amines. So I'm going to ignore the simple ones for the most part. Maybe at the end I'll take a simple one and show you what its Iupac name would be and convince you that you'd rather use a simple name. But this, if the organic group or groups that are on the nitrogen are 4 or more carbons long, then use one of the 2 Iupac systems of naming them. Naming amines. All right, so already I've alluded to there that Iupac has 2 acceptable official ways of handling amines. The first one, and I guess the recommended or mostly used one, is to treat the NH2 group, or the nitrogen, whatever it is there, as an amino substituent. Just like you might look at a hydroxyl, or a chloro, or a bromo, or a methyl even. It's a substituent. You treat it as something on the side of the compound. So let's just take a simple example, or an easy example. Maybe I shouldn't use the word simple because we're not using simple names here. We're using Iupac names. But yeah, let's say we had something that's 5 carbons long, and we just have the amine right on the end of this thing. All right. Now I'm not drawing in all the hydrogens. I'm just putting lines for where the hydrogens are. That's a simple organic compound with an amine functional group on the end, and we're going to call this an amino group, and we are going to start counting from the end closest to where that's attached, and in this case this would be carbon number 1 right here. It's 5 carbons long, so that would be pentane. Rule number 1 in Iupac, find the longest chain. It's 5 carbons long. If there wasn't anything on these 5 carbons, it would be pentane. But there is something on there. There is an amino group on the first carbon. So this is 1 amino pentane. And so you could see, that you could have a bunch of different amino pentanes. And here I would have 2 amino pentane. All right, so there's that one up there is 1 amino pentane, and this one is 2 amino pentane. And things could get a little bit more complicated. You could have an amine right there, an amino group right there. You could have something else right there. All right, we're still going to work off of whether I go from 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3. This is 3 amino dash 3-methyl pentane. Okay, let's just kind of look at that amine right there for a second. We've got this chain. We've got a nitrogen, and remember I said the nitrogen will have 3 bonds on it. This is why this is ending up as an NH2 group on there. We got our methyl here. Just to show you what that amino group looks like. It's an NH2. There is 1 carbon attached to it. It's kind of a complicated organic substituent, or not substituent, but compound sitting there, and so giving it a simple name is going to be very, very hard. Well, you shouldn't give this a simple name. It needs to have a systematic way of naming it, and the way of doing that is to treat the NH2 group as an amino group. Okay? All right, so yeah, things can get a little more complicated than that. We could have things where those aren't hydrogens there. They've been replaced with things. So we get a molecule like this. I'll take the methyl off there now. Let's just go back to a simpler situation here. All right, so we still have pentane. Well, yeah, let's see. We could, can we still use this name? 1 amino, no, this is 3 amino pentane. So I suppose what we could do is we're going to say there's an N-methyl 3 amino pentane. N-methyl 3 amino pentane. It is 3 amino pentane. If that were a hydrogen, it would be 3 amino pentane. But we have a methyl group attached to it, so we're going to say N-methyl 3 amino pentane, or it would be 3 amino N-methyl pentane. Either order that you put it in would be fine. Maybe I'll come back to this one in a second after I mention the second way of doing it. Now, if you don't want to, you really want to worry about the second way of doing it, you could stop right here. But I'll go on and talk about the second Iupac method of naming. Okay, and I'll use some of the same molecules. So let's start right where we started a minute ago. We had this molecule with an amino group on the end of it. And on this second method, they don't treat this as a substituent. They pull it into the parent name of the molecule. So how do they do that? We've got 5 carbons. This would be pentane. They're going to drop this E and add amine. So it's going to become pentanamine. Pentanamine. So it's just like it was pentane, but we've dropped the E and added the word amine. Now we got to do one more thing here in this method. Where is the amine? The amine is on carbon number 1. So it's 1 pentanamine. So we're looking at the second way of doing it. So here is another example that we had above there. It's not on the first carbon, it's on the second carbon, just to show why we need these numbers. It's still 5 carbons long, so we get to the pentan, we drop the E and add amine, and then we see where is it? It's on the second carbon. We're counting from the end, it gets us to the amine in the shortest distance. So this is 2-pentanamine. Okay, now let me just get back to where we had this example. This isn't the very next example we had, but this is eventually where we got to. We had a methyl down here. And so this second method, you will find it used, and this may be the case where it is a little better to use. All right, first of all, we got 5 carbons, so it's pentan. We've got an amine functional unit down here on this third carbon, so it's pentanamine. Where is it? It's on the third carbon, 3-pentanamine, but it is N-methyl, 3-pentanamine. In the first method, we called this N-methyl 3-aminopentane. Here we're calling it N-methyl 3-pentanamine. All right? Which do you prefer? Iupac has accepted both ways of doing it. What do I expect? One of these. Any one. So, yes, naming amines is a little more complicated, but on the positive side, if you give the amine an acceptable name, simple or either one of the 2 Iupac names, then it's okay. So now on the homework, I think we had a molecule like this, which is a simple amine. We named it above there as a simple amine, or not above, but in the previous recording that I did on naming simple amines, and this was diethylmethylamine, so that was the simple name. Diethylmethylamine. Now, what would Iupac expect us to do? Well, Iupac would expect us to find the longest chain. So it's either here on the left, that ethyl group, or on the bottom, that ethyl group. So 2 carbons long is the longest chain. So that could be ethanamine. That's one. This is the second Iupac naming method. Ethanamine. And what is it? It's N-ethyl, N-methyl, ethanamine. Okay, now look at the length of that name. That's the Iupac name. This is Iupac, and above there is the simple name, diethylmethylamine. Which one will I accept? Either one. I'll accept both of those. N-ethyl and methyl ethanamine. That is an official Iupac way of naming that amine over there. Diethylmethylamine, that's the simple way of naming it. You choose. If you just always want to learn Iupac naming and do that, then you're welcome to do it. Okay, I hope this helps a little bit as you go through this.